They are all leading international experts in their respective fields. They are all contributing to humanity's progress worldwide and now in China. They are all aligning their vision with China's future. They are all here on My China.
Boat racing. It's one of the earliest events of the modern Olympics, having featured in the 1900 Paris Games. At the time, and for the remainder of the 20th century, the boat's hulls, or shells as they are called, were supplied exclusively by builders in Europe and the US. Today, the biggest racing boat factory in the world is found in southeast China. The factory's technical supervisor is German national Klaus Filter.
I don't have to explain you anything, yeah. You know everything about this, but okay.
Klaus Filter is acknowledged as a world leader in race boat design. Back in 1960, he invented the world's first composite rowing shell. His streamlined concept still features widely in race boat building. Over the past 5 decades, boats based on Klaus's designs have won hundreds of gold medals in international rowing events. For the past 20 years, Klaus has been working at this factory in Fuyang on the outskirts of Hangzhou. He's helped it grow from a small workshop into the vast production base we see today. Klaus was born in Berlin. As a young man, he took up rowing, winning the East German national championships. In 1949, Klaus was apprenticed to the famous Pirsch shell builders. In 1961, after he'd developed the world's first composite rowing shell just a year earlier, he and 2 colleagues set up East Germany's celebrated Institute for Research and Development of Sports Equipment. Xiong Jiangyou, or John, as Klaus calls him, is the owner of Sino Eagle Boat Builders. He and Klaus have been working together for the past 20 years. John began to build hulls in these huts in 1985, when boat racing was just starting to become popular in China. Back then, unable to find any designers locally, he chose to copy German boats.
当时我们创业时很简单，一个什么，这一年赚10万块钱。为什么10万块钱？那是85年的时候，10万块钱就养活全家了，能过好日子了。
By 1994, John was the biggest race boat builder in China. For the 23rd World Rowing Championships in the US, he decided to exhibit the 2 best boats he'd ever produced. Both of them copied from German designs. However, the German builder whose boats John had copied found out. He complained to the Materials Commission of the International Rowing Federation, accusing John of patent violation. The head of the commission was Klaus Filter. Klaus informed John that he would have to pay a fine and remove his boats from the exhibition.
你要想企业发展，高老师讲了，你必须要有自己的心脏。如果心脏都没有，你这光一天到晚抄人家，你自己品牌是唱不了的。那么我那个时候还就是个农民差不多的，我还傻乎乎的。那我说好的了，那么我中国没有，那你帮我了。后来说是可以啊，他说我对全世界任何一个造船厂家都有义务帮助你们成长，帮助你们发展。只有你们发展起来，我们才能买到更多的船，这个项运动才能够发展下去，持续下去。
The International Rowing Federation, where I was responsible for the material, was faced to get reduction in the Olympics, and by the reason not to be universal enough. That means we had to attract new federations, to step into the federation. That means to educate coaches was not the biggest problem, but to equip new federations with material which was very expensive, that was really the bottleneck of the whole program.
Klaus rescinded the fine and promised to visit John's factory, which he did for the first time in early 1995.
我们杭州飞鹰快艇公司啊，是88年从这里开始建造新厂房开始的。当初这个地方呢，就还是那个小房子，就一个很平整的农村里。
Yeah. Workers were standing here, handing flowers over, and I got the first impression of this workshop.
第二年呢，就是95年的农历初八，就是正月初八，我们上班的时候呢，Klaus呢从这个地方进来以后呢，这两旁边呢，就是我们40-50个工人啊，那个花拿着献给他，那么他非常高兴，跟大家拥抱。
When we started, more than 20 years ago, of course I never realized, I never had an idea how far we could go, how it will develop. My intention was just to hand over some drawings that they could start with own ideas, own production, not making copies anymore.
However, John was expecting more than just a few drawings. He hoped Klaus would help him design some new boats, the best the world had ever seen.
Let's go again. Yeah, so that means.
这是现在是不是这里还有假山
Yeah, behind it. It's all hidden. And it was open.
是啊，这是不是
Klaus agreed.
That's all.
He advised John to abandon his 5 most outdated production lines and keep just one in operation. John went along with the idea, even though doing so would cost him more than $500,000 US, every penny he'd made since he first started building boats.
Of course, my first impression of the workshop was, okay, it has to change. When you remember, I told you, in the middle, the workers were used to put all their rubbish in the middle, put their resin over, and it was bar. It was a solid monument.
非常辛苦。
Yeah. And so we had to remove it. That was the first, let's say, lesson in environmental protection.
Yeah.
However, Klaus faced an issue that was far more pressing. The factory had no proper mold for casting his designs.
To make the first positive for a mold was a crucial, was a, let's say, was a key thing. Yeah, and therefore I said, okay, but it will be very tough. And we started immediately, and it was 16 hours per day. And in the end of the week, we had the plug finished and the mold too.
With the mold in place, they could look forward to producing new boats. But by this time, John had financial concerns. He was already having to borrow money to pay his workforce. Never mind the huge amount he'd heard Klaus charged for his services.
我最胆战心惊的，我请不起得起。那个时就是实力很小，那么后来我问他，你大概那个工资要多少左右
So, and when John wanted to pay me for all these things, which I made voluntarily for the federation, I said, sorry, I'm official of the federation, you can't pay me, but you can do me a favor. Yeah, you can help me in the development program with material. And when you have boats you cannot sell, please donate them to this program. And John agreed, and he did. When the International Federation realized this, they said, okay, please, Klaus, stay with that boat builder. Yeah, he is the only one who helps us in this respect, and you have to assist him, and then he can assist us.
Now, Klaus was on a mission. He was determined to help John build the best race boats in the world.
Rowers race with their backs toward.
And John also wanted to go international display. I said, sorry, please, we have to have a certain standard to do that.
But that certain standard was not achieved easily. The workers had grown lax, and Klaus had to be strict in supervising every procedure and protocol.
过去的这个工人啊，就纯粹的是一种赚钱意识，没有把这个做成是个事业性的东西。而我们那么克劳斯来了的时候呢，利用他那种德国人的非常敬业的精神，很仔细的精神，带动了我们一大批的骨干力量，使他们慢慢感觉到，没有最好，只有更好。任何事情要追求完美，这就是我们的目标。
这个 drawing
那边好的，这个就是。
I have asked all the years to make a precise pre-cut here. Yeah, what we have on the.
Okay.
Yeah, this, the size of the. Here.
就是往这边。
Yeah, to put it in. It's still. Yeah.
要用力点。
Yeah, this is right. This is not.
现在做抓子，刷一下。
对，是这样的。
用力点。
They are all aligning their vision with China's future. They are all here on My China.
As they would soon discover, the pursuit of perfection involves being prepared to endure failure and to keep trying.
Do you remember another story from our past, from our memories, when we launched, make the test of the first catamaran we built here? Yeah. We carried it down to the river to make the test. Yeah. So.
然后这个试航一会儿，这个机器嘣掉下去。
Yeah.
那 motor.
Yeah. But the funny thing was, the motor support was not finished. Was not finished. We made the provisory one from wood. Yeah. Yeah. Motor, and that means when we went high speed over the waves on the river, suddenly the motor dropped off and fell down into the river. Yeah. And we had, by the cables, we had to pull it out. And then we paddled. We had no paddles with us. By hand, we paddled the catamaran to the shore. And then
For the next 3 years, Klaus would come to John's factory whenever he could. Eventually, the hard work began to pay off.
In 1998, we had a World Championship in Cologne in Germany. I said, okay, John, we can have now our boats on display. They are good enough for international level.
At the event, the coach of the Ukrainian women's team approached Klaus, asking for his help. The team needed some replacement boats, and Klaus obliged.
The team uses the boat, and they always became, in the previous championships, the last and the final. But that time, with that boat, they won. And that was really a big surprise for the world of rowing.
The surprise was not simply the result, but something more.
Because in the same event, there was a conference, and there was a speaker, a German speaker. He gave a warning about not to buy these cheap Chinese boats. They are rubbish and so. But he didn't realize that the day before our boat has won a world championship. And then one of the auditory said, oh, sorry, if yesterday such a boat won, and if you can win in these cheap boats, you have never to buy all the expensive boats.
It was the first time ever in an international rowing event that the gold medal was won by a Chinese-made boat. The success encouraged Klaus and John to set themselves a new goal: the Olympics. The combination of Klaus's skill and expertise and John's determination and hard work would carry them to the pinnacle of raceboat building success. In 2003, for the first time in history, the International Olympic Committee designated Chinese boats for official use, opening the way for their debut in the 2004 Olympics in Athens.
We trusted each other, yeah? And there was no cheating at all, yeah? But when we made an agreement was kept, that was clear, without no doubt, and even in the technical direction, when I made recommendations, John followed, and I was pleased with the results. So, of course, there were sometimes, as usual in life, some steps back, but we always could catch up, and we have now this level.
In 2004, John opened a brand new production facility, the biggest race shell factory in the world. Its capacity to produce 3,000 shells each year means it accounts for 1/10 of global output. The enterprise went from strength to strength. At the Beijing Olympics in 2008, the German women's rowing team won 2 silver medals, using boats designed and built by Klaus and John. This is the training base of the Chinese women's rowing team in southeast China. The rowers were preparing for the Rio Olympics. The team's coach is Jutta Lau. As the coach of the German women's team in 2008, it had been her decision to use the Chinese-made boats.
My impression of the Chinese boat is that it's fast when it first sets off, so it's easier for the rowers to kick-start with that initial strength, and it moves at a nice tempo.
Und dass sie leicht dazu mitzunehmen sind, schnell zu fahren. And it was a huge surprise in the German public that the only German gold medals in rowing in Beijing were won in Chinese boats. There was a new head coach of the federation, and he didn't like our boats. He had a link to the German boat builder. He said, "You are not allowed to row these Chinese boats anymore." And then she said, "Oh no, I want." Then she said goodbye, and she got an offer from the Chinese Rowing Federation to become head coach of Chinese women's sculling.
Next, Klaus and Jutta focused their attention on producing Chinese boats capable of carrying the Chinese women's team to the medals podium at the Rio Olympics.
We are now here to help her to adjust, to make the individual adjustment to the boats of her teams.
Back in the factory, Klaus is busy working with the Chinese engineers on his latest design. Of all the challenges that come with preparing for the Olympics, the most pressing factor is time.
I think the deck drawing will come soon. Yeah, I think it's always steps off. In the moment, we have been a little bit under pressure. Yeah, and I think the project Midway 4 was a little bit delayed. Yeah, it should be far ahead, but I think it's just a question of time. And this is a concrete, a very precise. Here's a drawing, yeah, and here are the models directly taken from the drawing. And with these models, last not least, then the plug is shaped, yeah, over this. Both sides. Of course, both sides have to be symmetric.
老师呢，在工作中呢是非常细致的人，他经常就是把一些细节问题啊，就是看得很重视。他经常到车间来看我们一些做的一些情况，实际完成的效果。他包括有一些细节上的一些处理，包括最终的一个效果完成，他整个生产过程他都跟得很牢的，而且对工作非常有责任心。
They are all aligning their vision with China's future. They are all here on My China.
However, Klaus understands that being meticulous on its own is not enough. He knows that technology is the key to the success that he and John have achieved. But maintaining their advantage is costly. On Klaus's advice, John reinvests 20% of his annual profit into research and development, more than any other race shell builder in the world.
赛点顾名思义就是比赛，不讲关系的。你船好了他就卖，船得不好他就跟着不卖。今天我们能够在奥运会能够长盛不衰，很大的程度就是别人还没有用这个工艺，一旦用工艺呢，我们就没有像现在这样自在了。
Klaus believes in passing on his knowledge. He trains young experts, teaching them from his vast experience of designing boats accumulated over decades. This, he thinks, is the way to maintain the technical input so that the enterprise he and John started 20 years ago will continue to flourish.
The CNC machine, this particular one, we use to cut pre-preg materials, which are advanced aerospace materials that are the glue is inserted into the material in a factory, so it's very precise levels compared to hand lamination.
因为我们这里是他的技术总监嘛，所以呢，不单是在技术上面，在实际的影响方面，人员语言方面都起了很大的作用。飞行公司能够发展到今天这样规模，那么他呢是有不可磨灭的功劳，我们非常感谢他。
It's not only John who's grateful for Klaus's input. The Chinese government is too. In 2004, Klaus was awarded a special medal granted to outstanding foreign experts.
September 2004, I got the Friendship Award from the government. That was very big reception. I was from all provinces, experts were invited, and I was invited for Zhejiang province. That is the group of foreign experts which has been invited to Beijing to get the awarding, and that is a photo with the former Prime Minister Wen Jiabao in the center and all the experts around.
Klaus prefers to live in his office when he comes to the factory. It saves time, as he doesn't have to shuttle between a hotel and his work site.
Klaus 他一个人来到阜阳帮助我们工作，礼拜天的时候他很寂寞，也就把他请到家里来。现在家里来嘛，跟我们一起啊，跟那个儿子啊在一起聊聊天啊，在跟我们家庭这是好。
The 20-year friendship has made Klaus a member of John's family.
当初你建议我们把两个孩子送到国外去学习，现在这学习长那么大， 啊，当然那个时候你每个人要分饼干，啊，还排队，大家很开心的样子啊。待了3天啊。
I think Klaus is really the key person, and first he's got a really fast design, and also we working with him yearly by yearly, improving all the technology. And first we started with a hand white layup, and right now we're using the pre-preg technology. So the technology we have been improved really a lot year by year.
他很长时间没来中国了，他说一定要让 living experience outside of the country. Both Faye and myself made. Just on the idea, you know, trying to avoid going out alone, you know.
Class is such a high recognized, you know, professors, and has a very good reputation in the worldwide rowing or water sports industry. So that's actually builds to more credibilities to the company.
Yes. Faye has already family meeting, yeah. So, and very interesting, John. Remember? When we made this trip, around provinces. I think it was the only
Yunnan.
Yunnan province. And it was the only opportunity that I saw you making holidays together with your wife. So you were always busy, but this was she said also, oh yes, we enjoy it. Really holidays, really sightseeing, yeah.
Good.
They speak little of each other's language. However, decades of shared experience have overcome the language barrier. From a simple workshop to Olympic success, the two friends have achieved a lot. Klaus Filter is 83 years old. Yet, it seems there's no stopping him in his pursuit of his vision.